Alright, what's up? Today a vegan nutritionist is going to explain to us how to do veganism right. At last, her name is Autumn Bates.
Including a vegan-based diet can be really beneficial for your health, but there are a lot of ways to do it wrong so that you can actually reverse those benefits. Now, I'm going to share common mistakes as well as tips that you guys can utilize so that you can be a healthy vegan and feel amazing in today's video. All right, guys, if you're new to my channel and you don't know who I am, my name's Autumn and I'm a certified clinical nutritionist with my master's nutrition human performance. On my channel, I'm typically talking about science-backed ways
Another
to feel
Goji
amazing again. And part of that is making sure that if you are vegan, that you're doing it the right way. Fun fact, I was actually vegetarian for about 10 or 12 years. I also went vegan for about 6 to 8 months in college my freshman year, and I did it the wrong way. I made a lot of these mistakes.
Okay, nobody on earth would ever say that you look healthy. You have fake teeth, these wrinkles everywhere, especially around your mouth, which only people who are over 50 usually get. The skin looks dead. There's a look of death in the face.
Mistakes that I'm going to be going over with you guys today. Now, whether you're brand new to eating more of a vegan lifestyle or if you've been using it for a while but you just haven't been feeling very great. Now, when I was vegan, I was always sick. Always. I never felt great. I had very low energy levels, and it was not the vegan protocol's fault. It was my fault because I did it 100% wrong.
There's not much collagen left in this body.
Help. Also, keep in mind, I had zero of this education that I have now. So I was really doing this just based off of reading a couple different vegan books and trying to just be a vegan. I pretty much only ate rice and beans. Maybe I would throw in like a vegan canned chili every now and then because that was what I could make in my rice cooker.
Stupid.
But that's pretty much it. I lived in a dorm, so I didn't have very great food available to me. I tried to eat veggies, but there just weren't a lot of veggies available. There also just weren't very great sources of fat available, so there weren't very many nuts or seeds that I could have, or avocados or olive oils. So needless to say, I did it very wrong. And
a natural diet is not something that you can do wrong. You simply follow your instinct. Clearly, she has an eating disorder. She has had it for ages.
Didn't feel great. And so I don't want that for you. Now, the first common mistake that I've been seeing with a lot of people isn't that you aren't eating enough protein, but you're eating a lot of processed types of proteins. So things like fake meats, which are essentially just a bunch of pea protein. This is a problem for a variety of reasons. If you get the plant-based whole sources of proteins from things like beans or lentils or even higher protein veggies, then you're going to be getting a lot of other nutrients that go along with that protein. So things like fiber and vitamins and minerals, things that will actually help your cells.
Fiber is not a nutrient? I'm not saying that she said that, but you could think that because of the way she said it. Vitamins? In what? Beans? Seeds? What vitamins are there? Minerals? Sure, technically, but there's anti-nutrients in those foods. The processed foods, if anything, in some cases at least, would actually be easier to digest. For example, brown rice compared to white rice. When you remove the shell, and a lot of the anti-nutrients in the white rice, of course, will be easier to digest. That's common sense.
To thrive and be able to do what it's supposed to do. So my first tip based on this mistake is to make sure that you include more of the whole food sources of protein. So things like beans or lentils, even some seeds are pretty surprisingly high in protein.
It's terrible advice.
Veggies are pretty high in protein too.
People
in fact,
always get
like
digestive issues when eating
it, which isn't
whole
very much,
plant
contains
foods.
about 3 grams of protein. Now it'll take time to figure out your protein needs and what it is that your body needs, but focusing on the whole food sources and getting a variety of these in is going to be amazingly so much more beneficial for you than just having these fake protein meat options. All right, number 2. This one might seem obvious, but I have to put it out there because I've seen.
Just to make it clear, people eat fake meat because they want real meat. The vegan religion forbids them to eat it. Of course, nobody wants to eat beans. They are toxic raw, you cook them to destroy the toxins. They have been cultivated, and even if you could find some natural versions of beans in nature, then you would never eat them. It's common sense.
This happen. Don't skimp out on your veggies. I mean, with a vegan diet, it seems like that would be pretty obvious, right? To have more veggies. But oftentimes what I see a lot of vegans do is they just start to increase things like
she has mentally lies,
pasta, which I will be getting into.
Represents her brain.
In a second. With a vegan diet, the base of most of your meals should be vegetables. You should be having your plate filled with vegetables. Remember how I mentioned
Why?
a lot of the vegetables do contain a pretty moderate amount of protein. Again, this is where you're going to be getting a lot of those vitamins and minerals that are essential for feeling great. Plus, the increased fiber will really help with your GI tract too, as long as you're also making sure that you are drinking more water.
How is it going to help with the GI tract exactly? In videos like this, they never say anything. They don't explain it. They don't show any proof because there is no proof. Veggies are going to cause a lot of gas and maybe even pain because the fiber is indigestible. All of the nutrients that she talks about are protected by the fiber. You can't even get to them. You can't get to any protein. It's absolutely useless to eat them.
Water. So this is like a part 2 of this second tip, is to make sure that you really increase your water intake, because you're likely also very much increasing your fiber intake from increasing your veggies. Now, if you have increased fiber without increasing your water intake, then that can cause a lot of constipation as well as bloating. So you do want to make sure that you are increasing your water. Depending on where you're at, you might not have to increase it too much, just making sure that you are drinking more water. All right,
How is it going to help?
Don't be scared
Again, no
of fats.
explanation.
Now, I know that there are a lot of vegans who actually aren't afraid of fats. A lot of cashew cream. Cashews seem to be one of the main sources of fats in a lot of vegans' diets. So just for example, something like hemp seeds has a pretty good amount of fiber. It also has protein. It also has fat. So when you shift more towards the whole foods and really step away from the processed foods that are, I understand, easy to gravitate towards,
This is misinformation. Cashew butter and hemp seeds have oils. This is why you can make oils out of them and sell them to the stupid vegans. Animal fat is mostly saturated. This is not what the human body needs. When you crave these oils, then you're really craving animal fat, obviously.
Number 4, don't use pasta every day and don't use it as the base for most of your meals. Now, this is a mistake that I definitely made when I was in college because it's easy and it's inexpensive, mostly because it's easy and who doesn't love pasta? But you're not going to get the benefits of a vegetarian or a
Nobody
vegan
likes
diet
it. That's
if
why you
just
put
simply
sauces on
swap
it.
out a protein source for refined pasta. Now, this contains essentially nothing that your body needs other than just some carbohydrates. So instead of using pasta as your starting
Nothing
point
you
of your meals,
named
use
as
something that's actually
anything.
going to help stabilize your blood glucose levels so you don't get energy crashes or so you don't feel hungry throughout the day. So things like sweet potatoes or squash, which there's so much variety within squashes. Squash eye. Okay, number 5. This is probably the most common mistake I see, and it's don't only eat fruit. So a lot of people when they first transition over to a vegan diet eat a ton of fruit. And it's not that fruit is bad. Fruit does contain a lot of really great benefits, but it is still, nature's candy, and we don't want to be having a massive amount of it at each meal. So just to give an example, I have a client who is vegan, and she told me that she used to have about 3 different bananas and then a bunch of berries and a lot of other fruit in her smoothie, and within 1 or 2 hours she would feel an energy crash and she would feel anxious. That's the result of having so much fruit at one sitting, where you're going to get those blood glucose spikes and falls and those resulting crashes. Those are just some of the few mistakes that I've seen.
It's good advice, but the reason vegans eat the fruit is because it's easier to digest than any of the seeds and vegetables. You gotta understand that when you have gas all of the time, then of course you will want to eat something more watery that is easier on your gut. That's common sense. She doesn't understand that.
And I definitely want to do more videos on this because, like I mentioned, the vegan diet can be really useful for a lot of people for making sure that you get more nutrients into your diet.
Okay, she looks quite emaciated, not a good representation of what a healthy vegan is supposed to look like. If she's doing it right, then why should anybody want to do a vegan diet at all? She said that you can get a lot more nutrients by doing a vegan diet, even though it doesn't have over 50 nutrients. If she studied nutrition, then she should understand this, but of course, nowadays in the schools, they don't teach you everything. They will say that supplements are the same as food, and because you can't get so many nutrients on a vegan diet, you can simply supplement them. Because, of course, the schools are sponsored by Big Pharma. Vitamin D, for example, where are you going to find it? In whole animal foods. There's no plants that have it. If she recommends that you should eat a whole foods diet, if it wasn't plant-based, then that's what she should recommend. But of course, no, let's leave out the vitamin D, and for that, we will give you a supplement. It doesn't make sense. This is the perfect example of why you shouldn't listen to a nutritionist nowadays. Even the ones who will recommend lean meat, low-fat dairy, and maybe eggs will still of course say that vegetables, fruits and seeds are the healthiest part of your diet. Terrible. Thanks for watching.